All right. I like this question. Ingrid Lore. Was that right? Can you read that?
Yeah, Ingrid Lore.
Ingrid Lore. You guys play another kind of music when you are relaxing or something. Most definitely. Mark and I are big blues geeks, and we'll sit around and just play 12-bar blues, or Mark spends a lot of time learning like blues licks, and yeah, we like the blues. I'm kind of a little bit of a jazz geek. Like to sit with like Miles Davis stuff, and especially like I've kind of been going through a kind of blue phase. A lot of stuff on that record is brilliant. All of it. It's perfect. It's a perfect record for that matter. So yeah, and a little bit of country. Jamie Johnson, like that. Mark, now be nice.
Not a country fan, sorry.
All right.
What else you got here? Alter Bridge. What brand of guitar do you like the most? How was touring with Slash and Taddy Porter? What guitar brand do we like the most? Well, Paul Reed Smith guitars, there's no question.
And Taylor.
Yeah, and Taylor for acoustics. And how was touring with Slash and Taddy Porter, Miles?
Great. Actually, Taddy Porter's out with us right now.
Yeah.
They're on the bill, which has been great. Yeah, it's wonderful because I'm a huge fan, and anytime you get to tour with artists that you respect, it's just kind of helps your game, and we both kind of subscribe to the idea that you constantly learn, that you're never done learning, and so when you're playing with people that you look up to, and you can feed off of them and learn things. It's that's what it's all about for us. So.
Mm-hmm.
Did you read the last question?
Yeah, you read the next one.
This is from Egidio Di Caro. How do you feel if you think that you made someone, including me, start playing a musical instrument? Wow, that's
It's
like
a huge honor.
a huge honor. Yeah, I mean, if you can, yeah, that's huge. Wow.
Yeah,
That's great.
I get grown men with full beards that look like they're older than me saying that when they were kids, listening to one of our songs made them play the guitar, and it makes me just feel old. But it's very humbling, and it's very it's a huge statement for somebody to make to us, because that's this is what we've done for most of our lives, and for us to know that it's influenced somebody else to follow that same path, it's pretty great.
This is from you, Eric. Any tips on writing songs? My band and I are having a little trouble with it. Join the club. Yeah, it's songwriting is, you can't force it. It's something that you just kind of have to I don't know. I mean, it's just such a tough question. I think the key thing is be patient and don't stop chasing it. Something that we do is we basically stockpile ideas. Don't think you have to write a song from start to finish. You have to come up with a riff and a verse and a chorus and a bridge, and have to finish it within a week. A lot of times the best songs are songs that kind of have time to incubate. You come up with a good chorus or a verse, and you have this part laying around. You find somebody that you respect as a writer, and get together with them and say, hey, do you have a part that will complement this? And sometimes it'll work out that way. Sometimes it'll come to you, months later. Sometimes years later. But I think the key is just to be patient and don't push it, don't force it. Do you have any ideas on that, Mr. Trelawney?
Yeah, I think me and Miles both prefer to write, get in a room by yourself, so you don't have, so your next door neighbor doesn't hear you, or your roommate, or you just kind of have to be alone and let yourself experiment, because you're not going to sound good at all the times when you're writing. But so I prefer to be alone, and then a big thing is like Miles was saying, don't try and sit down and finish a song in one sitting, unless you're inspired to do so and ideas are coming out. But me and Miles both tend to write parts and then just keep on barreling through parts, and then have a good system of logging those parts, make sure they're labeled as bridge, chorus, pre-chorus, the timing of it, if it's a 6/8 timing, if it's a 4/4 timing, if it's a heavy idea. As much detail as you can get into labeling your parts, so when you go back, it makes it easier for when you yourself go to put it together, or you and partners go and sit together. So that's how we've worked for 7 years now.
This is from Miles Nation 64. Alter Bridge, what was your favorite thing to listen to as a kid, and what was your favorite thing to play as a kid? Well, for me, the Queen was one of the first. That was one of the first bands I really gravitated towards when I heard "We Will Rock You" and "We Are the Champions." I remembered I was in like T-ball. Remember T-ball?
Mm-hmm.
Remember, I think they were playing it at a T-ball baseball game thing, and I was out there just in the baseball diamond. I heard it, and I was like, wow, that's really cool. And so that was one of the bands. Zeppelin, huge. Stevie Wonder. Lots of things. How about you, Mark?
I had two older brothers that introduced me to music. My older brother Dan was more of a metalhead, and I remember going up to his room and taking Master of Puppets because I couldn't sleep, and that was the night that I really transformed into a huge music fan. And Master of Puppets was a record that did it for me, and still to this day, it's probably the most important record I've ever owned. For it just inspired me to do what I do today, and I spent a lot of time with Metallica, and then found all the other speed metal bands, and kind of went the whole speed metal route right off the bat.
What was your favorite thing to play as a kid?
My favorite thing to play, Call of Cthulhu was one of my first big Metallica songs that I tackled, and it really helped me develop my finger-picking style. That was probably the coolest, moodiest thing that I knew when I was a kid, for sure.
This comes from Corbett4444. What is your favorite band you have seen live? Oh, geez. So many good ones.
Rage Against the Machine.
Yeah. Those guys are... It's unbelievable how good those guys are.
Best live band of all time, I think.
Well, certainly one of them, without a doubt. If you've ever seen them, especially in a festival setting, like we play a lot of festivals over in Europe, and if they're on the bill, and usually there's a fair amount of people at those, you can be upwards of 60, 70,000 people, and to see the frenzy that they can whip that crowd into is unbelievable. It's really something to witness for sure. There have been so many great shows over the years that I've seen. I remember seeing the Octung Baby tour. It was where they were touring that record, the U2 back in '92. That was a really amazing tour. Actually, there was a Jane's Addiction. I saw the Ritual de Habitual tour in '91, I think, or somewhere in there. It was a little like college where I live over in Spokane, and that was an amazing show. I loved that. So, how about you?
Other than Rage, I think a band called Floyd's Funk Revival that used to come through our college town that was Butch Walker's band that they turned into the Marvelous Three after that, and with the Marvelous Three, they played the Paul Reed Smith Party at the NAMM Festival, which just blew everybody's mind. And every time you see Butch Walker perform, it's just, you see how good a performer can be on stage, how good of a front man a man can be. Look at Butch. He's
amazing. He really is talented. He's a nice guy too.
Mm-hmm.
He's a great producer too.
Mm-hmm.
Great songwriter. Total package deal. This one's from Mark. This is from Milan89. How do you write your solos, Mark?
How do I write my solos? I will just put on the backing tracks for the records and just improvise over it until I see something that I like, and then or hear something that I like, and then I'll kind of jot that idea down and keep trying to throw it in there and see what other parts will fit with it until it all coalesces into one big piece of rock solo.